Hello, my Earth Angel friends, Reverend Elvia here, and welcome to another video Messages from the Angels. My passion with these videos is to help you to communicate and plug into your angelic intuition and receive messages from your angels. And that's why we make this an interactive process, because you need to know that your angels are with you 24/7 and that it's your birthright to communicate with them. It's not a special gift that some people have and others don't. It is your birthright to communicate with your angels. So this month we're going to use 4 different objects that I would like you to select. Usually it's 3, but as I'm recording, the angels are saying, not, one more. And that's kind of typical when you're working with the angels. You think things are going to go one way, and then, they add a little spice to how things work, which always makes things more fun, of course. So the objects are, and before I show them to you, I want you to tune in with your angels using your breath. Just allow yourself to get into that deeper space, your heart space. Good. And now I want you to choose one of the following 4 objects, and only choose one. There may be messages for you in the other 3 objects. In fact, there probably are, but only one of the objects is destined with a message for you right now. So the objects are, number 1, this gourd. Kind of funky looking, huh? It's wild that something can grow like that. So we have the gourd. We have a holiday catalog. Number 2. Number 3, we have a deck of cards. Oops, upside down there. A deck of cards. This is actually the Archangel Power Tarot cards that Doreen just recently released. Lovely cards. And then the last object that I would like you to tune in with your angels about is a ring. This beautiful ring. So 4 different objects. Choose one. Pause the video if you need to. Either the gourd has the message for you, the catalog, the card deck, or the ring. And just remember, always important to choose what feels right in the heart. Let go of what your head thinks that you should have, which answer is right for you. Let go of logic. This is all about tuning into what your angels are guiding you to select. And you know that through what feels right in your heart. The first reading is for those of you who chose the gourd. I'm using Tony Carmen Salerno's Gaia Oracle deck. I'm just going to choose a card for you gourd people. I bet that's never been said before, you gourd people. All right, the search. Interesting. Okay. The first thing I'm noticing here is that the colors are very similar to the gourd. You can see the colors. There's a lot of overlap between the colors in the gourd. So I'm actually feeling like this message has a lot to do with color, and that it has to do with paying attention to, it's really about the solar plexus chakra, which is about yellow, and the heart center, which is about green. So this feels to me very much about working on those chakras and tuning into your internal power and following your heart. And I know there's more specifics here, so bear with me for just a moment. This is about letting go. Beautiful. This is about letting go of what other people think you should look like, be like, feel like. You look at this gourd and it's kind of a silly looking thing, right? It's just a bizarre looking creation, and it's so cool. But, when you think about, I actually think it looks kind of like a goose too. But when you think about when God was making his decision on what to create, you almost wonder why, you don't eat this. It's purely decorative. I mean, maybe you can eat it, but I wouldn't. And it's just a really interesting creation. It brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, these kinds of things, this time of year in particular. People love to decorate their homes with them. So this is about you seeing yourself for who you're meant to be and not what others are expecting you to look like. You bring so much joy to the world when you just tune into and act like and be like and look like who you're meant to be. So interesting last little tidbit on this card is the search, the words on the card. In this particular case, the search means let go of the search. And I say that because you know who your true authentic self is inside. And this is all about letting go of the search for that, because it's really about reconnection. And you don't have to search for something that's already there. So this is about letting go of that search, of that quest to find out who you really are, because that's all encoded within you right now. And it's just a matter of allowing your angels to help you realize that truth. Who knew? All that from a gourd. Gotta love it. The next reading is for those of you who chose the holiday catalog. And the card for you is Yin Yang. Beautiful. First thing I'm noticing here is the yin yang symbol in the third eye center and then in the heart center. Well, actually, it's the high heart, almost the throat center right here. And of course, so much about balance. And I'm hearing, this is going to be fun, that I need to allow the angels to show me a page in here that will tie into this reading. Okay. It's blankets and pillows. Holiday blankets and pillows. Take a peek. So I'm noticing lots of patterns, lots of textures, all feeling really cozy, all about snuggling up, but there are a lot of different patterns and textures that are part of this visual here. And I'm also noticing the price that's for sale here. It's starting out at $29.50, and which is not a bad price. And the point is that this is about you letting go. Oh, interesting. I love how these messages evolve. So much fun. This is about you letting go of the notion that this rich, textured life is something is going to be expensive for you. It's throwing you out of balance. If you've chosen this object, this card, then you're likely feeling a financial pinch or some kind of an abundance challenge at the moment. And this is a reminder to you that a rich, textured life, a balanced life, is something that has nothing to do with having a lot of money. As you tap into your angelic guidance, what happens financially is that you realize and live the kind of financial luxurious existence that you're destined to live. For some of you, that may be extravagant. That may be, having, several houses. That may be having, a couple of cars. Of course, that higher purpose is all going to be in alignment. In other words, you need that to live out your life purpose, perhaps. And I think this is where Peter's and my destiny lies, is that, we're actually destined to have probably 2 different locations that we're living in, because we're going to be hosting retreats, that kind of thing. Or we need an extra car to loan to people. That happens to us all the time. We have 3 cars, and there's almost always one that's a loaner or used by the children or something like that. For others of you, your purpose in life doesn't need that kind of an existence. Of course, you are always well supported. You will always have exactly what you need, but perhaps all you need is, a beautiful apartment, something that feels really yummy to you. Maybe you don't need a car because you live in the city. Maybe you're destined to be an author, and you think about what J.K. Rowling did when she wrote Harry Potter. She didn't have the money to heat her home, so she went to a coffee shop and she wrote there. And that's part of her story, and that's an important part of her story. So recognize that wherever you are, whatever your financial abundance pinch is right now, that it's a mindset, and first of all, you're going to move through it as you allow your angels to show you that it's perfect just as it is right now. And this card, the yin yang, is a reminder that the balance is already there, that whatever your circumstances are, again, it's perfect. All right, so the card deck. And interesting, because to be honest, I have not received guidance yet whether it's card deck in general or whether it's this particular card deck. So let's see what the angels have in store for us. All right, so the card that came forward for those of you who chose the card deck is Lost Love. Interesting. Again, the colors are really hitting me, and you'll probably notice these in the card, in the image there. A lot of blues, a lot of greens, and I'm noticing the peacock type feathers, at least that's what they feel like to me, in the top half of the card that are surrounding that beautiful moon. And peacock is so much about beauty, so much about transformation. Tarot deck does feel specific to tarot cards as opposed to angel oracle cards. And the tarot cards have, hearing a big yes on this, have enormous history. And I'm not going to pretend to know the details of that history because I'm not an expert on that. But I will say I do know that all of the suits, the major arcana, the minor arcana, all of the suits within the tarot decks have a very significant purpose and significant meaning that comes from, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of symbology in tarot cards in particular. The symbology within this deck is what's important for you if you've selected this. It has to do with your personal history. And your history has a pattern, your history has a meaning. And when I tie this together with the Lost Love card, the message I'm receiving is that the patterns in your life are a huge gift. And it may be hard for you to see what they are. And I'm hearing cycles and rhythms, cycles and rhythms. It may be hard to see what those are, but that's where the Lost Love card comes in. It's not, well, there is a little bit of lost love here, but it's a lot about resting and meaning being in stillness. And I would suggest you journal, actually, the cycles in your life. So in other words, for how many years do things feel like they go really well, and then they cycle down and they feel not so good, and then they cycle back up and they feel good again, and then they cycle back down. And it may not be years for you, it might be months or weeks, but it's important for you to notice those patterns, to notice that history that has accumulated over time, because that's your cue, that's your clue to really feeling comfortable with who you are. Most of us are programmed to have cycles in our lives. There's a lot around the 7-year cycle. It takes 7 years for a human body to regenerate, for example. It takes 7 years for a child's aura to become complete. And so that's a natural cycle. And when we fight any of these cycles, whether it's that or any of the, your personal cycles, we create conflict, we create disharmony because we're working against that natural flow. So this is where the lost love comes in, because that disharmony can cause you to fall out of love with yourself. So this is your opportunity to look at those cycles and to work on accepting those cycles and realizing that they are a part of you, who you are, and they're a really important part of who you are. So your action item, if you've chosen this deck, is to do just that. Journal about those cycles and those patterns in your life, and ask your angels to help you learn how you can strategize around that and to really accept yourself wholly for who you are. Last reading is this ring. I actually bought that ring when my children were leaving the nest. There's one stone I think of for our daughter and one stone I think of for our son. So a lot of personal significance to this ring. For whatever reason, I'm shuffling the cards again, which I didn't intend to do because I do that at the beginning. So that already is a message to me that this is about new beginnings. And the card is Gaia. Interesting. Well, I'm hearing Lord of the Rings, and most of you probably are aware of the ring in Lord of the Rings, and it's really the ultimate power. And Lord of the Rings is so connected to living in the earth. These characters are peoples that really, those hobbits, they live in the earth, quite literally. And this is about reconnection with the earth. A ring is a circle, and that's why it's such a powerful symbol. It's a circle that indicates that life is eternal, that it goes around and around and around, and nothing is lost ever. No energy is ever lost. So this is about your connection with Mother Earth, and it's time for you, I'm going to put it on. It's time for you to reconnect with the energies of the earth. There's something that has taken you away from your deepest appreciation of Gaia, of Mother Earth, and it's time to reconnect. Not just for her, but for you, because that's how you tap into that eternal power, is connecting with the natural forces of the earth. And know that you're not alone, because so many people are really out of touch with the natural cycles of the earth. There we go with a similar message from the card deck, the natural cycles. Although this time it's around the earth, and it's really something that I think is unhealthy. We're so plugged into video games and technology and, television, and we just forget that this whole world around us is so important. My husband and I have moved to the beautiful southern Rhode Island seashore for the winter to be closer to my parents, and the beach is just, I could throw a stone from here where I'm sitting to the beach. And one of the most spectacular things about living here right now is just being in tune with the tides. There's this cycle that we forget about. We notice the cycle of the moon, we notice the cycle of the sun, the cycle of the seasons, of course, but the tides are so significant. And I've been paying attention to it because the best time to walk on the beach is when the tide is low. So much to tune into with the natural cycles of the earth, and definitely encourage you ring bearers to tap into that and to really notice your own environment and notice the cycles within the cycles that are speaking to you through Gaia. Be well, everyone. I wish you a beautiful, blessed day, and remember that you can come back to this video and select perhaps another object another day. And if you've liked this video, please, please, please share it with your angel-loving friends and family. Be well, my loves.